All right. We do this little thing. I don't know if you watch Wayne's World. But
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah, I watch Wayne.
5, 4. Hey guys, Nick Campbell here. With me always is
David Steele.
and we are Rhythm and Wit. Oh my God! Today we have our headliner for our Put a Cork in It show, April 10th. Jamie Campbell. Jamie, how are we doing today?
Oh my God, I'm feeling great. It's a beautiful day.
It is.
I drove through one of the worst storms that I've ever driven through to get here.
Coming down from Tulsa, right?
Yeah, coming up from Tulsa, down, is it around?
Diagonally.
I felt like I was going flat across the land, really.
You have no idea which way is
Yeah,
which.
but it was coming down, and I was like, oh,
Really?
nobody's coming tonight. It was like it looked like one of those, like, let's get down to the basement and just hide.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they said it was going to be rough storms, but I think it's passing over north of us.
Yeah, we got through it. Now it's gorgeous.
Right.
Beautiful out.
Yeah, we didn't get anything here because I was expecting it this morning, but I guess it passed us. So.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Good for a show.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
The rest of the weekend, I don't know. We'll see. It's supposed to get worse Saturday night and Sunday.
Yeah, we'll have nuclear showers
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
That could be fun.
any moment. Purple rain, they call it.
Yeah, that's it. Man, we met 2 years ago at Tower City Comedy Festival.
Yeah, in Paris, Texas.
Paris, Texas. It's the only Paris I've ever been to.
Yeah, I have not been to the other one either.
Yeah.
Did you see the little Eiffel Tower there? Did you go see that?
Yeah,
The
little
cowboy hat on top.
Yeah, dude, they take pride in it.
They do.
They really do.
That's really all they
We're
got.
as close as you can get because you can't.
Right.
That's the idea, dude. But how long have you been doing comedy?
Oh gosh, almost 18 years.
Oh wow, yeah.
I started in 2008. I remember specifically because it was the week that Barack Obama got elected.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, back, and I was in Chicago at the time, and he's from Chicago, so it was like a big week, really, in that city. And yeah, that's when I started like actively. I'd done like a couple of open mics in the year earlier than that, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to do it. And that week I started and I decided I was going to do 100 open mics before deciding whether or not stand-up was for me.
That was the test.
Yeah, that's like going, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try heroin 100 times before I decide whether or not it's for me. Like by that point, you're hooked.
You're right.
Yeah. So were you hooked?
I was hooked.
You were hooked after what? How long did it take you?
Oh gosh, I think within a week. And Chicago's one of those cities where like you can do 3 mics a night.
Yeah.
And it's all public transportation. So I was like getting on the bus and going from one section of the city to another. And I wasn't killing, but I wasn't embarrassing myself. And so it was one of those things where I was like, oh, I can see how I can get better at this, but I'm good enough starting off that I don't hate myself.
Yeah. So like it's good enough to keep going and see where you can get.
Yeah, it felt like there were possibilities, and that's kind of a nice feeling.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Remember, Mike Birbiglia said like a part of one of the most important things you have to be a comedian starting out is delusional.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like driving 50 or like 3-4 hours for $50, and then you're like, and then you suck, and then you're like, that went pretty good.
Right. Oh yeah. Yeah. Then you go back a few years later and you go, what was I thinking? That was terrible.
So I'm glad you guys didn't call me again.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
That's it. So how'd you get I mean, you went on stage. Did you have anything before that? Any theater? Any?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I went to college at Northeastern State University in Tahlequah, Oklahoma.
Oh, really?
Hey, what's up, Tahlequah? What's going on?
Actually, I went back there last month, and it was like a full circle moment because they brought me in as part of their performing artist series.
Hey, let's go.
And when I was in college there doing theater, I used to be the guy that like I was on work study and I would load in the performing arts series and like run a spotlight for them and be like the like student assistant, and like it was neat to come back and be the artist that they're bringing in.
Be on the other side of it. Yeah. That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
They treat you like that too? Were they like, you're back, dude?
Oh yeah, I went to the green room and they had like a big welcome home sign for me.
Oh, wow.
Great. And my wife got to come out. I was like going back down memory lane.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I'm gonna tell Liz to give me one of them welcome home signs when I come home.
Yeah, you need that.
I'm gonna do that, dude.
Coming back from Paris, Texas.
And actually, I went to Oklahoma State University for a little while. I was in their master's theater program.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay.
But then I got into this program at the Second City I'd applied to. Basically, it's like a full semester of college, but all your classes are the Second City, learning sketch comedy and improv, like from people who had worked with my heroes.
Right.
Like one of my teachers was Stephen Colbert's roommate in college.
Nice.
I worked with Sheldon Patinkin, Mandy Patinkin's cousin, and he was like one of the original like people involved with SCTV. back in the day.
Yeah.
So like I was working with these people who would like rubbed shoulders and elbows with the people that I grew up watching.
Right.
And so I dropped out of grad school and just stayed in Chicago and just kept doing comedy. So that's kind of how that all started.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah, rubbing elbows with some gladiators out there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Dude, what was the biggest takeaway? Something that you can like impart to the people?
Oh man, it's. I think you got to give yourself permission to not be good and not hate yourself, right away. Like it's a journey. You wouldn't expect, like in just about any discipline, somebody to be good early on. The thing is, though, some people are gonna be really good early on, and you gotta let that not make you hate yourself.
Right. That is probably the trick.
Like realize that's an anomaly.
Right,
Yeah. Well, what if everyone is an anomaly?
Oh man,
no, dude.
I don't know, dude. It's time to start applying for some real jobs.
Good thing I'm an electrician. All right. But so you said you did the theater stuff, and you said that kind of helps you on stage with comfortability, or just kind of knowing what you're around.
Yeah, it definitely helped me with stage presence. I like to think of a stand-up show like kind of like a scene, but your scene partner's the audience.
Oh yeah.
Like you want good stand-up a lot of times feels like a conversation, except for the people in the crowd hopefully are quiet. But you're reacting to the way that they respond to what you're saying, and you want it to feel a little bit spontaneous, even though there is planned material in there. And I think acting has helped me in that. And I'm sort of a character on stage. It's me, but it's a little bit of a heightened version of me.
So you're doing a little acting. You're using a lot of those probably skills that you learned in some way, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. I think comedy has also helped me as an actor.
Vice versa.
You can discover the timing, and then especially if you have like a film director, because I still do a lot of film stuff, and if they let you be in the moment, then a lot of times as a comedian, you're able to read what your scene partner's doing and come up with something in the moment that I don't think I would be able to do that as well as I do if it wasn't for all this on-stage comedic experience.
Oh, nice.
That's awesome.
So do you see that in other actors who don't do comedy, where you're like, oh, they... because when you see a new comedian, you can kind of see like, okay, they're still working on getting comfortable just being out of themselves, right?
Yeah.
That kind of feeling. Whenever you're doing like riffing or anything like that, I feel like the more comfortable you are. And for me, it's like waiting for, like, I don't feel like, I got to get somewhere funny. It's like, if I give myself time, I'll get there.
Right, absolutely.
Right.
There's a trust in yourself that develops, too. That's like, when you're early on as an actor and as a comedian, like you want to impress people. You want the other comedians that are your peers to tell you you're good.
Yeah.
And sometimes there's a desperation that will come out of that will make you do things faster. You won't be patient with a lot of your work. And the same thing happens with actors. Like you want the director to tell you you're good. You want your fellow actors to tell you you're good. And you get so in your head about being good that you forget that you should just be in the moment. And a lot of times, I think early actors, they ask permission. Like, can I try it this way?
Yeah.
If I go out and I have an idea, I'm just going to do it. And if you don't like it, then you can say, don't do that again. And I won't, then we're fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So, I mean, as you're getting direction, you can also kind of play with whatever's out there without fear. Right?
Yeah. And a lot of times, if I feel like we got a good take of what was written and I have a better line, then I'm not going to ask, can I say something different? I'm just going to say something different. And then usually what will happen is by the time they yell cut, they'll go, oh, that was great. Do that again. And then,
oh, nice. And you gotta let them see it in action too. I mean, would they even say yes if they didn't get a chance to see it?
Yeah, they might not because there's so many moving parts. They're like, I don't know if that's going to work. I don't even want to bother.
Right. Well, let's not change anything now.
Right.
Kind of that attitude. Yeah. Oh man, that's really interesting. I knew you were an actor. I mean, when we saw you at Tower City, I'm gonna butter your bread a little bit. I was very impressed with just like your cadence, like how professional you came off, just how smooth. And then I went and as soon as they said Campbell, I was like, I gotta check if he's family. And you're not.
No. Although I spent a lot of my youth. I mean, I was born in Oklahoma. You would think that there'd be a chance, but
you know Grandma Pat. Anyway, she's doing good.
Oh, good. Good to hear. Tell I said hi.
Yeah, she's mean. There's I'll show her this. She'll be like, "What'd you say about me?" Anyway, but no, I did. It's very professional, and I looked at your stuff. I was like, "Whoa, this is high quality. Like this guy's really legit, dude." And that's one of my favorite things about doing festivals. Is you go out there, and
you never know who you're gonna meet.
Yeah, and I've been a fan ever since. Just kind of watching you throughout the, and it's nice to have you come through too, which is even better.
It's great to be able to come through. I love like coming back down memory lane and reliving things. Like I went to second grade in Oklahoma City. It's Stonegate Elementary. I don't even know if that place is still
That
around.
sounds familiar. I bet I've seen it or driven by it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, we were one of those families, like we were really poor, and we moved from city to city pretty regularly because something would happen of like, oh, well, this part-time job's not doing great, so there's a part-time job that pays slightly better. We're moving. Or guess what? We're 3 months behind on rent. We're moving.
Yeah, dude.
And so that happened. Like I lived in Oklahoma City. I lived in Midwest City. I lived in Edmond for a while.
Nice, yeah.
All
Stonegate.
over.
I think they turned that into a dispensary. I think that's what happened.
Now it's
really good
Stonegate.
prices. But yeah, dude, no, it's impressive. I like that you're coming. So, did you spend a lot of time? You're in Midwest City. I'm right in Del City.
Okay,
so
I remember Del City. Yeah.
Dude. I'm over there by Anthony's Appliances. You want to say what's up?
Okay, yeah. Hello, Anthony.
Hey, what's up, Anthony? But no, man. So you lived over there in Midwest City.
Yeah.
That was when was that?
Like second grade, a little bit of third grade, and then in fourth grade, I moved to Edmond. I went to Will Rogers Elementary out in Edmond, and I went to Cimarron Middle School for like the first part of sixth grade, and then moved. And I spent a lot of like the rest of middle school. My parents had a divorce and a custody battle and stuff, and so then I went and lived in South Florida. Basically for the rest of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade through high school. And then moved back to, my family's in Pryor, Oklahoma. That's where I was born.
Oh, yeah.
So a little town of about 8,000 people and 4,000 gun stores.
Yeah, dude. Everybody's got one.
Yeah, 200 beauty colleges. We got a lot. You know?
Hey, everybody can cut hair, though.
That's right. Everybody can cut hair. Yeah.
Dude.
Come to their house. You don't have to go to the salon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at that point, it's almost like it's in the family. It's in the neighbor. It's in the blood. It's in the water.
It really is.
But okay.
So I was curious, what made you want to get into acting when you were young? Was that in high school or?
Well, yeah, I did a little bit of acting in high school.
Yeah.
Basically, I just took drama classes.
Okay, yeah.
And I had a scout when I was in middle school in 8th grade. There's this School of the Arts in West Palm Beach, Florida. It's like a high school specifically for people that are like in the performing arts.
Yeah.
And one of my classmates was the daughter of the person that runs that school. And so she came and she saw me in a couple of plays that I did in middle school. I'm just doing them for fun. They're like, you do them in the afternoon. It's like your drama class does them.
Instead of playing sports.
Yeah, exactly. And I wasn't taking it that seriously, but she loved me, and basically they offered me a spot. It's one of those schools like you have to audition to get into, and she offered me a spot, and my dad was like, you know what, though, they don't have sports teams, so we're going to say no. And I was like, but I would love to be an actor. And so I was like, well, they got drama classes in high school. You enroll in those. I did. Also, one of the people I went to high school with is Oscar Isaac.
Oh, really? That's incredible.
I remember watching him in Little Shop of Horrors. He played the dentist in high school and was incredible. Like, even then, there was this, like, star quality about him.
You could tell even then.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's probably, I think, one of my favorite actors to watch in anything.
Yeah, I think he's one of this generation's best. He's really great.
Great.
So do you, I mean, doing so much. I mean, doing comedy, acting, and then you did mention trying to do some voiceover here pretty soon.
Yeah. I've been playing around with that. Like, I've got the equipment because I've been doing podcast stuff. And I don't know. I think it's something that I would enjoy doing if it wasn't really hard. But a lot of my friends that are voiceover actors, they get up in the morning and they're submitting auditions like for hours during the day. And then people will be like, cool, we like that. Can you do it a little bit different? And this isn't even a booked job. They're just auditioning. Yeah. And like that seems like a lot. I'm really impressed with how much work they put into it. I don't think we realize how much it takes. Like in my mind, people are just like, hey, can you do this? And they're like, yep. Yeah. All right, Hershey's Kisses, and then I did it. Pay me money.
Right.
Yeah, like, that's not it.
But it's like no, it's a full-time gig. And I don't think I want to do it full-time, but I wouldn't mind playing around with it here and there.
It'd be a nice work from home job. I mean, that's what's cool. Yeah. You know? That's why I do think it would. You know, it's easy in the sense that all you do is go into a room and hit record and talk. You know, it's like. Yeah. It's pretty low effort. I mean,
do you have a different voice? Do you have a different voice you use?
Oh, it depends on. Okay, give me a product that I'm doing a voiceover for.
All right, Trojan.
Look, AIDS is out there, and it's coming for you. Trojan condoms. I don't know if that
was good.
Yeah, they probably. I don't think that's a current ad.
I'm gonna go buy some.
Or it could be. I don't know. Wrap it up when you're on the town, Trojan. I don't know. It depends on what they're looking for.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it could be.
What about
serious or playful?
Pryor's new hair salon just opened up next to another hair salon.
Oh, come on over.
Mother and daughter duo.
Mother and daughter duo. Have you ever thought about having a mother and a daughter at the same time? Well, now you can. Come on down to Christy and Christie's. Christy Senior. A lot of women aren't seniors, but she's Christy Senior. And she does your bangs while Christy Junior does the rest of you. We call it an Eiffel Tower.
That's good.
Made famous out in Paris. Texas.
That's right.
That was beautiful. I don't know. You should be hired right now. I'm about to go buy some Trojans and get a haircut. Yeah, dude. I love that. Oh, that was good. So do you have, I mean, you go into the voiceover stuff, you trying to get cartoons, TV?
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, my wife and I are building a house, and I was just like, I think I'm going to put a vocal booth in there. So I have no idea.
Yeah.
I'm just going to try some stuff. I've got an acting agent that will send me voiceover auditions, and so I'll see if that's something that people want to hire me to do. But I'm not putting a ton of investment in it. I am doing a lot more on-camera acting right now, which I'm really excited about. I filmed a family Christmas movie last year called Gingerbread Man that should be out on streaming this year.
Okay. Is that kind of like the Hallmark types?
It's more of like a family slapstick comedy.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice.
It's pretty funny. They hired me to do punch-up writing originally.
Oh, okay.
So like I came in to make the script funnier because I'm a little bit of a screenwriter.
Oh, yeah.
And then the guy came out and saw me perform, the director, and he was like, would you come in and audition?
Yeah.
And then I got a role of the dad of the main character, and it's a really big supporting role.
That's awesome.
So the plot of the movie is these two little brothers, they get these magical gingerbread cookies, and basically they can make a wish if they eat them, and they wish that they were like adult size. They want to be big. And so it's sort of like inspired by the movie Big meets Home Alone, but then there is so much weird, crazy stuff that happens that is completely unique, that feels almost like a classic Adam Sandler movie.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I'm going to make my kids watch it.
Nice.
I will. You're going to get those views that day.
Oh, good. Yeah, that's good. We need them.
Yeah, so I assume that'll be out towards Christmas.
Yeah, it should be out towards Christmas. I'm doing a movie. We're shooting in May and June that is going to be so The Wizard of Oz just became public domain, the original book. And so this guy wrote basically a comedy horror, like drug trip version of The Wizard of Oz. And I'm playing the wonderful Wizard of Oz, or Oz the Great and Terrible.
Oh, nice.
So that's going to be really fun. It's
How do you get into that? I mean, do you like doing the process of acting, waiting, kind of being in there, writing, collaborative effort?
It seems like you have all kinds of different
man, you got a lot of
avenues
skills
within performing too.
Yeah, I'm all over the place. And it takes a while to get into any city's community of artists that do that stuff. But Kansas City's got a great artistic community.
Cool, yeah.
And a big thing that happened is I just started working with a few people, and then word eventually starts spreading. You know, if you do a good job on set, you're prepared, you show up, you're fun to work with, you deliver the goods, then people start talking, and then somebody's like, oh, I need somebody for this role. And then somebody's like, oh, well, you know who'd be great in that is Jamie Campbell. And they're right. I would.
Every time. Exactly. Every time, guys. So something that I really enjoyed was whenever you reached out to me for the show. Again, very professional, dude. I was blown away. Most of the times it's like, yo, book me.
Yeah, right.
And then just a video link to, anywhere.
Yeah.
Anyways, they took my 401k that way. Right. but no, it was very professional. How much time do you spend actually booking your year, and what does that all entail? Like,
man, it varies depending on like what I'm working on. So last year, I really want to focus on getting out there more and touring more. And so I'll do a combination of, I'll submit to some comedy festivals. This is the first year that I actually had some comedy festivals bring me out.
Oh, cool.
As opposed to reaching out to them. I did a headlining show at the Albuquerque Funny Fiesta, which was really cool. That's a great fest. And it's a really cool city.
Yeah,
too.
that sounds like it'd be fun to travel. I mean, that's not too far from here either.
Yeah, it's not bad. So I'll submit to some festivals, but sometimes I will literally just sit down and go, all right, for the next 30 days, I'm going to try to contact someone every day about a possible booking. Other times I'll go, I'm going to take a break because I've got a lot of film projects and things going on. Right now, I'm taking a little bit of a break where, like, if people reach out to me for a booking, I will go and see them. But I'm writing what's going to be my next indie special right now, and I'm kind of rehearsing it. Because I have a theater background, I rehearse my hour like it's a play.
Yeah.
Oh, do you?
And
Okay.
so I've got actually a director, and I'm putting it up on stage. This is going to be different, though. Because the world is such a garbage mess right now. Everybody's full of anxiety. We don't know what's going to happen. I wanted to create something that feels like, I don't know, that like feels good. You know, I think there's so much cynical comedy out there, and I think that's important. There's a lot to be cynical about right now. But I think also one thing that's not happening is we stop having conversations. As a society. Like, if you disagree with me, I can go online and find a whole tribe of human beings that do agree with me, and I don't have to listen to you at all. I don't have to compromise. I don't have to move my thoughts or hear you out. And when we do that, what happens is we get the situations like we have now where we're not listening to anybody. We immediately dismiss them because they don't agree with us, but we're not learning about, like, what their background is, why it is that they feel that way. And we're also getting completely different sets of information because the algorithm on our phones is designed to keep us on our phones. It's not designed to give us correct information. It's designed to keep us scrolling until we die. So I wanted to create a show that, like, gets people having conversations that do have differing points of view. So it's going to be a little bit interactive. I'm going to get somebody up on stage that thinks that they have a different point of view than me, and we're going to just talk. But I've also got some fun activity stages. I want it to feel a little bit like Mr. Rogers for adults.
I like that.
So I'm going to have something called a joke tree, where as audience members come in, they can write down a joke. They put it on the tree, and at some point in the show, I have to pull some of the jokes off the tree. I don't know what they're going to be. And the rule is I have to say them out loud. So that's putting me in a vulnerable position. But the idea is, like, if I end up saying a joke that's offensive, then we go, cool, it seemed like some people were offended by that. Let's talk about it. Why were you offended? Who wasn't offended? Why do you think it's fine? Let's just chat about it. You know, instead of getting mad and dismissing each other, let's just get to know each other a little bit.
Like it kind of open up the opportunity to talk for sure.
And so, I'm pumped about it.
You got a name yet?
It's called Kinder Words, which I initially was like calling, like, the touring dates I did this year that. But then I was like, oh, that's kind of a good name for the show. Especially if it, like, you want it to feel like like it tells you right away that. But it also is. It says that, but then it's going to get a little uncomfortable. But I hope in a good way.
Well, I think the idea. I mean, it's not me, but you know, that comfortability, and then having that further conversation, and then at the end of the tunnel, you're like, oh yeah, nobody died. We're all good.
Like,
we're totally fine.
It's the 90s again.
You know? Well, I wanted to end with a moment of catharsis. So the other thing I'm going to have audience members do when they come in, I'm going to have this big box, and they're going to write down something that scares them like a fear that they have. I don't want it to be like spiders. I want it to be like, you know, I fear that ice will show up, or I fear, that, my kid will grow up to be hateful, like something that we like genuinely fear, or like I fear nuclear war. And I want to pull those things out of the box and talk about, like, what are the things we can do to control that? What are the things that are within our control with this fear? And then what are the things that we can't control? And if you can't control it, there's no reason to let it consume you and waste your energy. So let it go. And then I'm going to bring out the fear shredder. And we're going to take the fear. I hope it's a feel-good way to kind of end the show.
Have you tried it at all? Anywhere?
No, I've written it. And I have a director, and her name's Christy Hammett. She's fantastic. We did theater together at Northeastern State University, and she moved out to Chicago, and we worked together in Chicago when I lived there. And now she's out in the Dallas area, but we've kept in touch. She actually did a reading at my wedding. We've been close for years, and she's incredible. So I sent her the script, and I was like, "Would you direct this for me?" And so she's going to do that. I might be working with some musicians because I wanted to have like a little Mr. Rogers song up top when I come in and
kind of a little bit of
do
a
the little pull
show.
too.
What's that?
The little pull. When you come up here, take your shoes off.
Right. I think I'm going to come in a gas mask. And then take the gas mask off. Like, oh, hey, you found the place.
Y'all didn't bring your masks?
You're going to need the mask. You got about 15 seconds.
This is the splash zone. No, that's fun. I love that. I like comedy with a heart. I'm a big fan myself of those types of, Ricky Gervais, a little bit more controversial, but one of the best writers.
Oh yeah, phenomenal.
I love his shows. I forget the one where his wife had passed away. What's that show?
Oh, I can't remember the name of it, but I know exactly which one you're
Anyways,
talking
you guys
about.
know Ricky Gervais. You can hit him up.
You've heard of him?
Yeah. But no, that's really where, I mean, I like to be too, as far as just like having some heart.
Yeah.
You know, because you're right. Everything is pretty freaking cynical at a certain point.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean that, like, I'm not telling anybody, like, don't get mad. You got to get mad.
Yeah.
But it's like, but don't let cruelty come into the picture. Like, don't let yourself turn into the things that you hate. And I think this is a time right now where we either figure out how to work with each other as human beings, or it just gets worse.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm hoping we figure it out.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I like a lot of stuff about this world, and would love to see it continue.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, you notice when you go outside, it's not as bad as it is on your phone.
No.
It's a common occurrence. It's Friday afternoon, you just finished up a long work week, and now you're wondering what to do with your weekend here in OKC. Your friends started hitting you up, and they're looking to you to suggest something fun to do. Luckily, you listen to the Rhythm Wit Podcast and remember their weekly video series, Upcoming Events with Heidi Fitz on YouTube, where myself and podcast host David Still break down our picks for the most fun and interesting local music, comedy, and art shows going on every week. Not only that, there are clips from the video posted nearly each and every day on Instagram and Facebook, where you can get the information quickly, share it with your friends, and find out if they'd be into a particular show that you're interested in. So catch Upcoming Events with Heidi Fitz on the Rhythm and Wit YouTube channel and stay up to date on the most fun and interesting local music, comedy, and art shows OKC has to offer.
I was curious. I was reading like your credits, and your comedy special is called Big Dad Energy. Is that right? Well, this guy's a Big Dad Energy.
I'm a big dad,
So
bro.
I was like, I feel like you guys gonna have some similar energies.
Yeah, you know, I'm not a dad.
Oh, okay.
But I have that vibe.
Yeah,
Everybody
okay,
thinks I'm a dad. And
for sure.
I'd probably be a good dad. My wife and I, we didn't meet each other until we were 40.
Okay.
It just kind of wasn't. So that's what that special is all about, is me coming to grips with the fact that even though, like, I always thought I'd be a dad, that I'm not going to be one.
Interesting.
I'm a hell of an uncle, though.
I can borrow a kid.
Okay, all right.
He's got 3 of them.
Okay.
They're going to do better with you.
Oh, man. If something happens, I'll just get a different one, bring it back.
We got a return
them out.
policy. Yeah. You can get the big one.
That's
He
fine.
carries a lot of
How
stuff.
many kids you have?
I got 3.
3?
Yes, sir.
What are their ages?
10, 12, and 16.
Oh, man, that's the gambit, because like, as soon as one of them like stops knowing everything, the next one's going to know everything.
Oh, they all do.
Yeah.
They all do. Well, I raised them. You know? You know what I'm saying? Be confident no matter what. Yeah, you're gonna be a politician.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
But yeah, is it good?
Yeah, no, I was
good?
curious.
Yeah.
I was just, that's interesting that you say that, because I assumed you were a dad. Just
Yeah,
from that.
everybody. Actually, that's kind of how I talk about that up top in the special, because for years, people would, like, one of the first questions they'd ask me would be like, "How many kids do you have?"
Right.
They don't ask, "Do I have kids?" They just go, "How many?"
Just assume right away.
How many you got? I know you got some.
That's good, man. I love that, dude. That you automatically, hey, can you help me fix this motor?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
like that kind of feeling.
No,
Can you
I
help me
can't. I
jump
can't even go fishing. I don't know. I have nothing. I can't cast a line. I have none of the regular dad skills.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I believe in you.
Thanks.
You know, you can be my dad.
Well, I can take 2 VCRs and pirate a movie.
Yeah.
That's
There
pretty
you
good, though. Nowadays,
Oh man, when everything shuts down, when the grid collapses, you're gonna need my VCR
you're going to need
skills.
Terminator 2 on VHS.
Exactly.
That's it.
In the
If nothing
closet.
else, just to reference what's going on.
Yeah. So how do you, when you're building your bits, I mean, you went from Chicago, obviously a lot of practice there, a lot
Yeah.
of opportunities to
Good
do
place
comedy,
to
get on
practice.
stage. And then, but now you're in Kansas, right? How, are you able to get bits built as fast as you used to, or how do you approach all that?
You know, I approach it so differently than I used to. I used to, when I was in Chicago, I'd go to an open mic and sit in the back of the room with my notebook, and I just kind of scribble ideas. And then I would get up on stage and just try to kind of work through the concept. And eventually, through repetition, things would form. I don't have time to do that
Right.
now. And I don't have the energy. I'm 46. I can't do it. And I got a wife that I want to stay married to, because she's amazing. And,
You gotta spend some
and-
time with her.
yeah, I can't just be out every night. So usually I'll write the full show. But I start off, I have to have a concept for the show, like an idea, a thesis statement.
Okay, the overall theme.
Yeah, and then I start figuring out bits that would fit within there, and I kind of start writing those, and it's like I've got just the idea, but I have to start out with, like, either what do I believe or what is like kind of a thesis statement, and then I start using comedy as the supporting argument for that thesis statement.
I like that.
So when I got the call to do my dry bar special, I had just released Big Dad Energy.
Yeah, to kind of
I have a whole hour that's out there that I can't do for my dry bar special. I was like, I'm in the starting over phase, and I got 2 months until we're recording a new special, and I don't have the stuff for the special. So what I did is I sat down and I go, all right, I'm going to spend 1 month writing it. And when I write it, I have to do it out loud because some stuff reads funny to your eyes, but then you start talking, it's like, oh, that's not how the words feel comfortable. It doesn't feel like I'm like you're having a conversation with me. It feels like I'm reading an essay to you. Right. And so I spent a full month working stuff out, and I would still go to some mics and try some things out, and then once I felt like I had it ready, then I spent a month hitting stages every single night that I could and just working everything out. But the moment that I felt something was ready, I was like, great, I'm not working that again until I'm practicing the full hour. Like, I'll still rehearse it at home, but I'm not taking it back out to test it. Kansas City's got a small enough market that if you're doing mics, you're seeing a lot of the same people at your mics. And once they know a bit, they're not laughing at it anymore. So, like, if I keep doing it, then what I'm going to do is start doubting it. You can't hit that stage for your recording doubting your material.
Interesting.
So I try to get it as ready as it can be to where I'm confident that it's going to do well. Then I test it out and see if it does well, and either throw it out or I make some tweaks. But I had one section in the show. I do this bit where I compare Planet Fitness to Walmart. It's kind of the Walmart of gyms. You know, there's a Walmart in every city, like every area in America, and you can find a Planet Fitness every area in America. And there are a lot of similarities. But I was having just the hardest time really figuring out how to connect the two and explore it. And then eventually I found this just kind of common thread, and it has to do with salmonella and just chicken being left out. Essentially, if you go to Walmart, you go to any Walmart in America, you look hard enough, you're going to find a package of raw chicken that somebody just left on a shelf. It's in every Walmart, in every city. And so then I was like, I found that connection where, like, you know, Planet Fitness is the gym for people that they're trying. I'm one of the people that is just trying. So I'm not making fun of them. I'm making fun of me. But like, if you go into a Planet Fitness, like, the gym floor is full of people who are the human equivalent of a package of raw chicken left out of room temperature. And so then I found that thread, and it worked. But there were like 4 different versions of that bit. And I was like, I know there's something in here, but it is not hitting. And I'd take it out, try it out in front of a crowd, a new version of the bit, and it would met a tepid response. Some of the setups were getting bigger laughs than the punchlines. I was like, well, that's not good.
Like, you're on the right direction.
Well, you got something going.
Because if the setup is hitting, that means your point of view is good. You just got to find the way to make it funny in a way that is relatable and also that surprises them. And I found this fun little thing towards the end where I talk about walking into a Planet Fitness in Des Moines, Iowa, and finding a guy in there making a panini sandwich on a George Foreman grill. There was nothing they could do about it. It's a judgment-free zone, and he offers me the sandwich. And I'm not great in social situations, so I took the sandwich and shouldn't have done that. That day, I went home with a salmonella situation. So, like, then it all, comes around. And so I found that, like, raw chicken was the common thread that linked all this. And at first it wasn't there. So
that's awesome.
Well, do you how many times you try a joke before you're like, all right, I got to change it, or it's good?
It depends on the joke, and it depends on how much I believe in it. There have been some moments, now and then you get a joke that you feel like is your baby. You're like, this is funny to me. And you keep taking it out, and it keeps falling on its face. You're like, I know that's funny. But no, it's only funny if you have an audience of you. But you don't have an audience of you. And so now and then I've had those jokes that, like, I'll just take out. But now and then I know right away. I'm like, oh, that's not good enough. Or you get something that's topical sometimes, and it crushes for like a week or two.
But then,
and then you bring it back out. I have a thing that I talk about now that it's weird. It went through this phase where it was getting big laughs, and then it stopped getting laughs, and now it's getting laughs again. And it's just like I talk about. So I had cancer a year ago, and we did genetic testing before I had, like, my tumor removed By the way, I'm cancer free now, so
Congratulations.
thanks. It feels pretty good. But we discovered I have this thing called Lynch syndrome, which is basically a genetic mutation, and it made the cancer likely to return, which is why we took out my whole large intestine, which is wild. But the joke that I did was, you remember when all the Sydney Sweeney controversy was happening?
Yeah.
When she had the I've got good genes ad that came out. So I just make a joke. I was like, we did some genetic testing. And I have a genetic mutation. I'm the opposite of Sydney Sweeney. These are not good genes. And when that had first come out, it was getting huge laughs. And I was like, but I like the bit. I don't know how long we still remember. I'm going to keep doing it until it doesn't get laughs. And then the laughs were kind of dying. And I was like, I don't know. I still like it. I'm going to keep doing it. And then they started coming back. So I was like, I don't know, maybe she's just in the news cycle again?
I know she had another movie come out that did well.
There you go, right?
So you got to write jokes about people you bet on. I got to write these. Basically, your own poly market for jokes.
Right. Exactly.
That's funny.
But if it ends up stop getting those things, then I'm like, I'm fine. I don't have to replace it with anything. That's just a bit within a bigger bit.
It's just like a tag or whatever.
Yeah,
for sure.
nice to throw in when it feels right.
I was curious because you had said that you back when you're kind of starting out, you would go to the open mics and work out material and try to, I feel like the jokes would come very naturally that way, but it took a very long time and a lot of time. Can you see a difference between taking that approach versus now where you kind of write them all out and spend the time at home doing it?
Yeah, well, I think because I'm starting with a general, I'm writing towards an hour now instead of writing a bit. I'm writing. I'm like, what are things that will fit within this hour? And so I found that my stuff's a lot more personal. I'm talking about me and my life. I used to just be like, oh, what's a silly thing?
Yeah, just a random
that can
thought.
happen. Yeah, sometimes I'll just be like, oh, that's a funny word, and then I'm going to explore that. And I kind of miss that. That's something that's not as present in my stand-up as it used to be, and I'd like to find some ways to bring that back. But I used to do this bit in Chicago where I talked about you've heard of pickpocketing. Well, I like to. What I do is I do dick pocketing, and it's just I get on the train and I stick my penis in somebody's pocket and I ask them. What I do is I make sure that they don't have a watch on and they've got a cell phone, and I see which pocket they put it in, and that's where I put mine. And I do it real quietly, and then I go, hey, do you have the time? And they got to reach in that pocket. And then when they get upset, I go, are you trying to steal my dick? It's very silly. But it doesn't fit in with my current act. But it was kind of one of those, I don't think I get as much just I just have a silly whim. Because it spends too much time in my basement before it, where I'm writing it before it hits the stage.
You made it tired. You made it tired. It's we're good. We're done with these dick jokes.
I think it's...
Also, the older I get, the less people want to see me be dirty.
Yeah.
I've learned that, I can talk about sex. People don't mind if I talk about sex conceptually, but if I talk about me having sex, they're like, we don't want to hear that. It's like hearing our dad talk about sex. And same thing with partying and getting crazy. I can talk about stories, but if I'm talking about me present day doing something, people are like, you should have it together now. We're just sad for you.
Oh yeah. Oh wow, that's interesting. As you notice as you grew up too, that things would your
my hour used to be a lot more, a lot dirtier, a lot more graphic in nature, and a lot of specific stories about me doing things. And I started noticing once I hit 40, audiences started. And the material had been fine because I've been doing it for years. It was stuff that killed. And I started noticing the audience is kind of backing away. And I was like, okay, well, I guess who they see on stage is different than they saw a decade ago. And so we're not laughing at the same things because we feel a little bit sorry for this guy.
It's they seems like they have an idea of what they want you to be, and you kind of have to play into that a little bit.
That is
but also, there was a long time where I was just struggling, dead broke, 2 steps away from homelessness, but I'm hanging on, doing comedy.
Yeah.
And those stories and who I was then, I was very cynical because life was punching me in the face constantly. But now I'm doing fine financially. I'm married to somebody I love. So a lot of that stuff wasn't ringing true anymore on stage too. And I think the audience can smell when you're not being authentic. And so I was like, okay. So during COVID is when I wrote that Big Dad Energy special. I threw everything, all my old material out. and wrote a full new special. And man, was I terrified to debut it. I debuted it at a Fringe festival. The whole hour. Like, I was able to work sections of it, but there are some really sincere moments in it that you can't test out at an open mic because you need the 40 minutes of jokes.
Yeah, to build it.
To earn that.
Okay.
And I was terrified, but then it killed and it did great. And I'm real proud of that hour.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was the first time that I had just written the hour and then started putting it up after.
Okay.
Yeah. This episode of Rhythm and Wit was brought to you by Campbell & Son Electric, Oklahoma City's trusted one-truck electrical contractor with over 20 years of experience in the field. Whether it's upgrading your home's electrical service, troubleshooting issues, or tackling small commercial projects, Campbell & Son Electric delivers top-notch work with care and attention you'd expect from a family business. Servicing areas like Del City, Edmond, Yukon, Mustang, and beyond, they're your go-to for reliable expert service. Need help with your next project? Visit CampbellandSonElectric.com today and get it done right the first time. Campbell & Son Electric, brightening Oklahoma, one wire at a time. But one of my favorites is your pineapple on pizza.
Well, I think you can tell a lot about society by the way people treat things that they don't like, but that also don't really affect them in any way. For example, pineapple on pizza. Some people like pineapple on pizza, some people don't. But I have also noticed some people not only don't like to have pineapple on their pizza, they don't want anyone else to have pineapple on their pizza. They hate the very idea of pineapple on pizza so much that they'll ruin the enjoyment of others even though it doesn't hurt or affect them in any way. These people would prefer that it were illegal to put pineapple on pizza. I've got an uncle in this camp. He's one of these pinophobes. He thinks he's a free thinker, but he's not a free thinker. Every family's got one. He'll tell you he doesn't mind if you have pineapple on your pizza. He just doesn't want to see it out in public. He would prefer you take your pineapple behind closed doors and not throw it in his face. Some of these pinophobes are parents. They are against pineapple on pizza in schools. They refer to it as the pineapple agenda. They're worried that if their kids see another kid having pineapple on their pizza, they're going to realize it's an option. They're going to want to try a little pineapple on their own pizza. Next thing you know, the kids are up in their room with the door locked, downloading the Domino's app. I've tried pineapple on pizza. I experimented in college.
That's the standard. I think that's your free bird.
Oh, it absolutely is the bit of mine that like has gotten the biggest response. I mean, it's something that is relatable to just about anything that people get up in arms about.
Exactly.
Like a lot of people think it's just a joke about homophobia, but it's a joke about literally just letting people do what makes them happy if it doesn't affect you.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I got that. It is whatever you make it, which is the best part. Is like, it's like, that's about homophobia. It's like, no, it's about racism. It's like, oh, you guys are homophobic and racist.
Right? Like, all I did was talk about pizza.
Yeah.
People used to, in the comment section, they'd be like, this isn't really about pizza. And I wanted to go, no, it is about pizza. It's just also about things that are not pizza. But if you're being a jerk about pineapple on pizza, it's also about that.
Yeah, there's a good chance you're being a jerk about some other stuff.
Exactly. Yeah,
dude, that's the best. Yeah, no, well, I love that little mirror to the world. Insightful comedy does that. It'll
that's
force bad things out.
Forces you to think about things. I think that's what the whole thing. I think a lot about comedy is just presenting ideas, and they're coming from an individual that's their perspective, but then you're presenting it in a way that might be different from that person in the audience, and it makes, if they're laughing at it, they think it's funny, and maybe that's a different from what they believe, but it makes them think like, oh, maybe there is something.
And that's one of those risky jokes too. That like I tell that in a room. It's one of those almost like if I tell it in a room that doesn't like it, I almost am like, well, then I have to tell it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're
it's
actually
important.
the people who need to hear it most.
Yeah, that's it.
I love it. Yeah.
Well, and it's such a, the thing about that one is it's such a in like a lamb, out like a lion kind of situation. Because you start off, it's like safe. We're like, oh, we're just talking about pizza.
Right.
And then you start getting it because you don't hit
The moment I
anybody
say
heavy.
pinophobes,
That's
like, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
That's funny. Yeah, I like it.
But yeah, I'm very impressed with that. That's a good bit, man. That's well crafted by
Thanks.
far. Yeah. So you did a dry bar and you did your Big Dad special. Tell me about the prep for each one. How'd you prep? other than, I mean, like as far as you did your practice before, you talked, who'd you talk to kind of get yourself into the front door of that, you know?
Yeah.
From booking it to finishing it.
Yeah, well, they happen in different ways. So the indie special happened. I did this documentary for a film director as an actor, and it's heavy material. It was about the abuse in the Boy Scouts. And I actually, when he first told me, he was like, I want you to do the reenactments for this documentary. I'd like to cast you as this character who is a predator. Yeah. And I was like, oh, a real life one? Gee, thanks for thinking of me. I met with him because I was like, I want to make sure you're not like exploiting this terrible tragedy, because I'm not going to say yes if it is. And then I met him and I found out that like one of his best friends was a victim and he wanted to tell the story to help people feel less alone and get word out about this stuff. Good. And so I was like, yeah, I'll do that. And we did the documentary, and so he and his wife came and saw when I did Big Dad Energy at the Kansas City Fringe Festival. And they were like, this is wild because we've just been watching all the footage, like through the editing process of you playing this terrible human. But then this is just a real uplifting and funny show. And he had asked me, because I'm also a screenwriter, to join this collective of indie filmmakers that like are going to get together and kind of do projects for each other. And so we met, and he was like, I want everybody to come in and just pitch a project for us to make together. I pitched a short horror screenplay that I wrote. He pitched having everybody get together to film my show as a special. Oh, dude. And I was like, okay. Like, yeah, I wasn't going to throw that out there. That would feel like really egotistical. But and then everybody immediately was like, oh, heck yeah. Oh, we can, that's easy. Like, we don't have to have a bunch of locations. We can go out there. And these guys all have great equipment. They know what they're doing. These are people that are regularly working in film and TV. And it's just a fun passion project. And so the way we did it, I had no money. But these guys are all professionals. So I just basically gave them all a piece that, like, if this thing makes money, you're going to get a percentage of it. And I did that with every single person that was involved in any way, including the people that run the Bird Comedy Theater, which is where we shot it, out there in Kansas City. And we came in, we built a set on stage. I wanted it to look a little bit like a backyard at night. So we had a lawnmower, we had some turf, a grill, and they actually put in like a smoke machine. So that when I entered, there was like smoke coming out of the grill.
Big Dad Energy. I love that.
It had like a cooler that had beer with a koozie that said Big Dad Energy on the front. I cracked it open. It was really cool. But yeah, they set it up and we shot it. I wanted to make sure that I was going to get a packed house. And Kansas City did not have enough. I'm not enough of a draw. I'm enough of a draw to sell out a show in Kansas City, but I'm not enough of a draw to sell out two. So I was like, we're going to get to shoot this once. And with this one, it was interesting because like Dry Bar, they handled everything. But with this one, like I had to go like, what are the things I can do to set this up for success? So I got a couple of comics. I was like, I want you to be the warm-ups. And this is what I want you to do because I want the crowd to be warm by the time I hit the stage. And they came out and they killed. We did it the night before Thanksgiving.
Oh, perfect.
I knew people were looking for stuff to do. They don't want to be just stuck with their families. And I knew the theater would be available. And every single person on that film crew would not be booked to a commercial or film shoot the night before Thanksgiving. So we packed it. The energy was incredible in that room. And basically, I just told them, I go, if I mess something up, I'm going to pause, go back a couple of sentences, and get back into it. I didn't really mess much up. What did mess up was the wireless mic, and we didn't have a second lav.
Oh, no.
So there were 42 instances, just like where a brief second, the mic went out. I had to go in and do what they call ADR. So like I'm in this guy's studio, and I got a guy that does sound on a bunch of TV stuff. His name's Tyler Batchert, and he actually came in the night of the show. It wasn't his equipment. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't have had an issue. But the original sound guy had like emergency gallbladder surgery the night of the show. I believe his gallbladder. But like, yeah, so he was like, sorry, I can't be there for the thing that we just set up for the night before. And so my friend Irene, her husband worked sound on a commercial, and I was like, is he available? He came in.
Who do you know that runs sound?
And not only did he come in and handle that, but then with all the mess ups, he did all the post-production sound. So I went into his home studio, did all the ADR, and fixed all those little bitty moments. And if you listen close, you can find them. But for the most part, I mean, nobody. When I share clips from it, nobody's like, "Hey, your sound messed up for a second." Like,
you can't even tell.
so
that's awesome.
That's really good that you were able to fix that. I mean, I definitely I do this stuff, pretty often. I just do it as a hobby, really. But I've had lots and lots of times where it's like a mic didn't work, or especially just being a one-man operation. It's terrible.
For sure. I mean, all sorts of things can happen. Then we went into post, and we just sat down, the producer and the director, this guy, Jacob Allen Clark, who lives out in Austin now. We just sat in his editing studio and like went through, and there'd be moments where it would be like, cut to the audience here, or like, I feel like that worked. And we just kind of just figured out where the edits were. And then my friend, I got a friend that lives in New Zealand who works as a story editor on the Australian version of RuPaul's Drag Race. His name's Stephen Lyons. And he's also a stand-up that I used to work with in Chicago, one of my best friends. And so I sent it to him just to get his notes on the edit. And he gave me some great notes, which are like, after you stick the landing on a punchline, don't cut right to the audience. Let there be a brief moment of you enjoying that joke then cut to the audience. And like, it made all the difference.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, I would have never thought about that, but there is a little bit of like, I want to be that. You know? It's like, I didn't,
you want to see me, like, you want to see the comic enjoy that their joke hit.
That's cool.
And so, he gave great notes. For Dry Bar, I got contacted by a producer that I just reached out to this guy about like maybe doing some like touring gigs, because there was an agency, and I didn't realize that he was booking Dry Bar. And I'd sent the special. I think the fact that I had Big Dad Energy is definitely what led to the special, because having a full hour that looks good, it's polished, and is generally clean, like it's PG-13.
Right.
And so I sent that to him in the hopes of a booking, and then he goes, I'm not looking to add anybody to my roster right now, but I think you'd be perfect for Dry Bar. Would you mind if I submitted you? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. 6 months go by. I hear nothing. So I'm assuming they passed. And then all of a sudden I get this message, and he goes, hey, are you available in February to shoot? And I was like, absolutely. And then he gets back to me with a date, and I was like, I guess I'm doing a Dry Bar. Okay, I better write one. For that one, I came up pretty early as I was like kind of looking through some of the. I had like kind of the bones of a few bits that I thought would work, and I was like, you know, I talked about not being a dad, so that's not exactly what I want to discuss. I was like, but I'm not. Physically, I wasn't. I was really feeling bad. I didn't know I had cancer, but I was just really not feeling good. I had an iron deficiency, which I would soon find out was because of the cancer, but I didn't know. And so I was like, I kind of want to just write about it kind of being hard being in middle age. And so I was like, okay, I'll call the show Middleman, middle age and middle class in middle America. And just, you know, then once I had that, then all of the stuff started coming out, and I overwrote. I wrote probably about a 35 or 40 minute show. And so then I had to like go in and go like, what are the bits that I can cut? And essentially I just was like, what are the bits that I feel like maybe won't crush as hard? And I don't have time. I'm just going to make that decision and work on these. And unless they're not hitting, then I'm going to do them. And then once I had it, I just worked out all the bits for that show. And I did a send-off show in Kansas City where I invited everybody to come out the night before I was flying to Provo, Utah to film the special. And we had a good audience, and that was the confidence boost I needed. I brought in other comics to kind of warm them up, and also to explain, like, this is not just the PG-13 clean I usually do. For Dry Bar, it's family-friendly clean. So I want you guys to understand that going in. And they were great and supportive, which was so good because I did a Don't Tell the week before. That's not the audience for a Dry Bar. So I go up, and just everybody is, I mean, essentially it's just, well, I was coming over here, I was coming over there, I was coming everywhere. Like, everything was a cum joke. And because I've got more experience than most of the people on the bill, they put me up near the end of the show. But once an audience, everything has gotten super duper edgy. Like, you kind of got to call it out and talk about it a little bit. If you go up and you're like, great, now here I am, and this is, you know, just squeaky clean. They're waiting for it to get dirty. They're not having a good time. And it almost destroyed my confidence. Like, at one point, I'm halfway through a bit, and this audience is like, it's full of like stoned and drunk 21-year-olds. And at one point, like, they're just dead silent in the room. I hit a punchline. It's dead silent, and then just one guy goes, huh. I was like, oh no, I'm in so much trouble. This special's going to be terrible. But then I stopped and I went, you know, guys, I got to be honest with you. I think we're waiting for a cum joke. I don't have any cum jokes. I'm not coming anywhere. I was like, I'm married. I'm not allowed. And that got a big laugh. We acknowledged it. And then they laughed at the rest of my set. And I learned, like, you just got to call it out. I did a comedy fest one time where I followed a porn star. and she's basically doing the comedy equivalent of a porn video, like being very detailed about essentially her career. And so then I got up and I was like, I got to break the ice somehow. And the line that worked that got the audience to like, because you just got to kind of acknowledge that you're not what they just saw. And I got on stage and I just said, what you guys just saw was essentially the comedy equivalent of an X-rated website. And I'm the website you click on when your parents walk in the room.
That's
perfect. That's really good.
It worked. It got them on my side.
So what was your website, though? I'm just writing it down. I love that. That's so good. No, it's really great. I have a lot of clean stuff. I started off very clean as I was trying, because I like to write multiple punchlines for different situations, or I write different jokes for different situations. Just because I try a lot of my stuff in front of customers. Like that's how I know that it's like, okay, that's clean enough. I can talk about it in front of my customers.
Yeah, it's HR approved.
Yeah, but I do have some stuff in my back pocket where it's like, I'm a little devious devil. And so I'll throw that out there every once in a while. But I do have but there are those moments where you're like, I want to be clean because I want to be different a little bit here, you know? But I love that because it takes the meat or any edge off of anything clean you've got when somebody else does a bunch of dirty.
They're just waiting for the thing to turn and to get crazy. And so as long as you acknowledge it, like, it's fine. And they're like, okay, because they're just waiting. Right. And you just got to break the tension and go, you're going to be waiting a long time.
Break the news. Sorry.
So you wouldn't. I mean, maybe is that a situation? Your situation might be different than one we're talking about. But in other situations, would you like, all right, I got a couple dirties in the back pocket. Let me throw these out.
Now and then I'll break some out. Because I used to. I mean, if you listen to my first album, I released an album a decade ago that it hit #1 on Amazon, #2 on iTunes, and it was pretty dirty. Yeah. I've got a whole 4-minute bit about double penetration. So, like, you're not going to see me do that now. Right. But I did a show not too long ago, and it was the late show at this comedy club, and the people that came in were clearly 3 sheets to the wind. And I was watching my openers. They were doing some kind of edgier, dirtier stuff that did not hit at all weekend. Yeah. But this crowd, it was hitting. Yeah. And I was like, okay, either I'm in trouble or I'm going to make some adjustments. And so I just did my regular act, but I just threw some fucks in. Yeah. And that's it. That's all they needed. That's all they needed was a few fucks.
There you go. Yeah. Throw these at you. Yeah, dude. Oh, don't we all? Right? Don't we all just need a few fucks?
That's my stand-up generally is clean, but I always want people to like let that be the secondary thing that you talk about. Right. It's funny. I'm going to come out and we're going to have a good time. Because the first thing that I think of when I hear clean is like, oh, not good. So I don't want, I'd rather sell myself as like a funny comedian first. And then like, oh, it happens to be clean. But you can put me up on a bill. Literally, I follow porn stars. You know?
Yeah. How far? To their car? Or?
No, just until the person that's in charge of taking the money approached. And I was like, oh, no, I don't. I am in the film industry, but different.
Not that one.
Freebie? You got a freebie? But so comedy themes. I do want to talk to you about that. What clicks when you're like, all right, I got a theme. I got this idea. Let me expand on this idea. Does it like hit you, or is it just like kind of a passing, like, let me grab this, see if it works?
It's one of those things. It varies. Like, for example, that pineapple on pizza bit, the second it hit me, it was like, oh, I wanted everything to stop, put the brakes on everything because I knew I had something special. Nice. And it was just in my mind. And I sat down. I was like, I've got to write down and explore this, because if I don't, it's going to go away. I'm going to lose the thread. Right. But there are some times where I'm like, oh, I know this idea is funny, but I haven't fully fleshed it out. So I'm just going to put it over somewhere. It's like I've stored it in the garage. And sometimes I let it marinate. I have a bit that I want to work on that I did one time at this show where I used to do the show called The Swing Set, where I get the topics of a 5-minute set from one comic and then the topics of a 5-minute set from another comic, and I give them each other's topics. Oh, cool. They have 24 hours to write a new 5 minutes based on the other person's topics. And in the show, you see the first set of topics, and then that comic comes out and you see the original set based on those topics. It's a killer show.
That's fun.
It's never not been fun. And now and then you'll get a new bit from that concept. And
now, is this recordings? Do you have recordings of this, or what is this?
I do have a few of them here and there, just like from my phone. But I was producing it not monthly, but just kind of sporadically in the Kansas City area.
Okay, yeah.
And I was doing one, and I got something about cats. And I wrote this bit that I have not really fleshed out since that night, but I know it's going to end up in something at some point. And it's just talking about like the names for cats. Like if you pull up any map of counties, every name of a county could be a name for a cat. Like, it doesn't matter. There's a cat that comes to your mind if I say the name of a county. Like, that's just because cats feel like old money, and counties are named after like the rich founders of the area.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
Oh, I like that, dude.
Yeah, like dogs are first names. You know, dogs are like, you name a dog after just something that you find at a thrift store. Oh, Frisbee, get over here, Frisbee.
All right. Let's see. So what do you got going on the tour this year? What's ahead of you?
Oh man, well, I'm doing the new hour of Kinder Words. That's going to be debuting in July. Right now, I'm in rehearsals for a world premiere musical.
What?
Yeah, it's going to take the stage in Kansas City first weekend in May. And it's called Finding Troy. It's about this archaeologist who was looking for the lost city of Troy, and he found it. But in order to he was impatient as he was digging through these layers of history, and he used dynamite, and he basically just blew it to bits and ruined it. So it's a musical about that. It's really fun.
Are you a singer? You like singing? You musician?
I'm not a great singer, but I can I can sing and kind of sell a song pretty well. I don't have a lot of vocal heavy lifting. I have a lot of acting to do. Like this is one of those characters that you'll see in a musical where you're like, oh, he does a ton of acting and then has one song where he kind of speaks and it's a duet with somebody that really does the lifting on the singing. And so they're taking care of me. They're making me look good as far as that part goes.
That's cool.
But yeah, I've got a little bit more touring that's happening. Going up to Butte, Montana in May. I'm excited to go up there. I'm doing the Loons on the Lake Comedy Festival just outside of Minneapolis. That's coming up. I'm shooting a few feature films, that the Wizard of Oz parody I mentioned. I'm also doing a film noir murder mystery where I play a corrupt chief of police in this feature film. And I have like a death scene. It's really fun. I'm excited about that. We're in the middle of shooting that right now. And then I've got a feature film that's out on the festival circuit called Taffy. And it's I play the dad of a teenage exorcist. I'm one of the leads in the movie. My head gets blown off. It's kind of wild. So it's going to go through the festival circuit and then hopefully be released on streaming. And then Gingerbread Men coming out this Christmas. And then my wife and I, we're building a new house, and I'm just really excited to kind of move in there. And then we've got our podcast, Hot Cup with the Campbells, that comes out every Wednesday. It's just kind of feels like just hanging out with a pair of friends that are a married couple.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, that's perfect. Yeah. Dude. Well, I got me and Liz are the Campbells too, man. Maybe we all hang out sometime, dude. We'll all do a show.
Oh, we totally should.
That'd be fun, dude. Campbells versus Campbells. Well, hey, man, I really appreciate you coming out. Very impressive as a human being. Thank you so much for being who you are and what you're doing, dude.
Absolutely.
Thanks for
super excited for the show tonight. And
do you want to like shout out any social media or anything like where people might find you?
Oh, sure. You know what? I'm having fun right now. I'm having a blast on Threads. I don't know. A ton of people don't do. I love Threads.
Really? Okay.
It's like what Twitter used to be, but your followers, you don't have to worry about like. On Twitter, it used to just be your followers see what you post. But Threads treats it like Reels does, like on Instagram, where like if it's in line with somebody's interest, that joke, like they see it or that whatever that thread is. So I've been having a blast on there. And on Instagram, I'm at Jamie Campbell Comedy on both of those and TikTok. If you just go to JamieCampbellComedy.com, it's got all my stuff. You can see both my specials on there. It's got show dates. And any other thing that you might need as far as getting in touch with me.
A beautiful EPK, if I should say that. I modeled mine after yours. After that. Well, yeah, man, thank you again. And be sure to check out Jamie Campbell. Watch everything. Like, subscribe. We're at Put a Cork in It Winery. Micah and Jess. Shout out. Letting us do this here. And thanks, Dave, for being
this is awesome. Good time. Everybody, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
All right, great.
Awesome. Great job. Great job.
Absolutely.
That was so much information.